Hi everyone, it's Lee here. Thanks for joining me. I was tagged by Sel from the Purple Outhouse to be the next person to make a tag for the challenge, and it's hashtag tagyourturn. So Carrie, the paper monkey, is the originator of the challenge, and there's a link to her channel and to Sel's channel in my video description box. So I decided to keep my tag reasonably simple, but to have a slightly marine theme about it. I wanted to use a couple of stencils that I'd found just recently in my stash. So the first thing I did after cutting my tag to size was to ink it up. So I've used Vintage Photo and tea dye. So I put tea dye in the middle and Vintage Photo around the outside. Then I got this stencil and I used a baby wipe to remove some of the ink off the card. So that cardstock is 250 GSM, and I cut my tag to 3.5 by 6 inches. Now I don't know whether I rubbed too hard or whether my baby wipe was too moist, but it didn't give me the nice crisp look that I wanted, but it's still a nice pattern on there. I tried to do it with that little shell stencil, but it has little bits sticking up everywhere, and it was really hard to get the baby wipe to not catch on the little bits that were sticking up. So in the end I decided to just give it a squirt of some Distress Oxide ink, and I believe that colour is Stormy Sky. So as part of my job as a taggee in this challenge, it's up to me to tag somebody else. So I'm going to tag another fellow Australian, and that's the adorable Jen from Jen's Arty Inclinations. A link to her channel will be in my video description box. Anyway, the next thing I decided to do was use the stencil because I like the arrows, and weathered wood is the colour that I'm putting on there. So this is some drawing ink that I've got in a little nozzle bottle, and I've just done some asemic handwriting on there. Once I do that, I then dry it off with my heat gun. So I have a bigger version of the little shell stencil. These are ones that I made myself. And I'm going to use this sand medium to fill in that stencil, and I want that shell to be on my card, on my tag. So I fill in the open parts of the stencil, and then I just spread a little bit of the sand medium in little patches of it in a couple of places on the tag, and dry that off. So once that's dry, I get my Liquitex acrylic ink, and this is a bronze ink, this one, and I just water it down a little bit, and then I use a little paintbrush and paint the shell with the bronze ink. I gave it a couple of coats because it really soaked into the sand medium, which sort of surprised me. I didn't think it would do that, but yeah, it soaked right in. I wanted it to be quite vibrant, so I eventually get, what is it? It's a mica spray called Fortune Teller. It's a distress one, and I go over the centre of those pieces of the shell with the mica spray just to make them stand out, and it's a lovely purpley colour, so it looks really nice when it's done, and it has that shimmer. It's quite a bit more shimmery than the metallic ink by itself. So this is the mica spray and it's called Fortune Teller. So just roughly do the centres. I don't worry about taking it right to the edge. Once I've finished colouring in those bits, I then mix the two inks together and splatter it onto the tag. So the next thing I wanted to do was put something around the edge, and I've got Evergreen Bough. This is another distress ink, and I thought that it was a nice greeny colour and it would go well with my sort of oceany themed tag, but I decided that I really didn't like it that much. It was a little bit too different. So I just added some water to the leftover ink that was on my mat there and did a few more splatters. Now this is another acrylic ink. It's called Deep Violet and it's by Liquitex. So I'm going to put some spatters on with that. And then I'm going to go around the edge over that green with this purpley colour. So this is a beautiful colour, this one. It just gives, just a little bit of contrast because I thought the tag was just a little bit wishy-washy and it lacked a little bit of contrast. And I wanted to get rid of that green as well. And I thought that I'd just mop up the leftovers on the plate there. So the next thing I'm going to do is with my big chunky Posca pen is just a little bit of mark making, a few dashes on either side. And then I've got some other inks that I want to just apply. Just to add another little bit of contrast to that. So I've got these Liquitex ones that are muted colours. So there is a muted grey and a muted pink that I'm going to put onto the tag. And then I'll squirt a bit of water on it and let it run down. So that's the muted grey, that one. And it's really quite purple, I thought. It's not purple, not grey at all actually, it's very purpley. Though it does appear in the monitor to be grey, but in natural light it's got a very purpley look about it. I suppose it's a cross between a purple and a grey. So I'm just dropping that on, letting it spread a bit, and then using water to get it to move around a bit on the tag. Now this is muted pink. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that one and let them combine together and run down the page. And I do end up mopping up that bit that's right in the middle of the shell because I didn't want that in there. So I thought, yeah, that's nice, that little accent of colour up in the top left hand corner. So the next thing I want to do is to put a little slot in there. So I've got the slot punch, pop a slot in the top of the tag, and I've got some eyelash trim that I've had for years and I very rarely think to use it, so I thought, well, I'll dig some out this time and pop it on here because it's seaweedy, I think. Looks like seaweed. And this is a dark browny purple sort of colour, so just pop that through the top and then tie it off. And that's my tag for Tag Your Turn, hosted by Carrie the Paper Monkey. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to make your own tag and post it on social media, put the hashtag #TagYourTurn on your post, and don't forget to check out the playlist. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and check out the other girls' channels. There's links in my video description box, and until next time, I shall see you later. Hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!